Okay, so if you go to google.com and you type in smart is, it auto-completes to the new sexy, the new cool, the new pretty, beautiful, blah, blah, blah. All these positive, all these positive things that people want to be. And I think this is better than at least what was my perception of like the 80s and 90s, where it was like, let me smash this can on my forehead to show how cool I am. Where it was almost like being dumb is what was cool back then. That was my perception, and I don't know. But so anyway, I think that smart is the new cool is a upgrade from that, but it has a downside, I'm afraid. And I think it has the downside that we've been seeing a lot of recently. Namely, I think that when people now have more motivation to be seen as smart, whereas in the past it was like uncool. And so people need to make sure they have the right opinions on the issues, and that's how they think they're going to show that they're smart. And so I think what's happened is that kind of mentality has exacerbated the whole emperor's new clothing, groupthink, mobthink, sheep mentality in the world today, certainly in America. And I think that that's basically led to it's led to the political climate that we see now, where it's like, each side thinks the other side is full of complete morons, and they think they're completely right on every topic, and that the other side has no validity in anything they're saying. Right now in the news is the whole Kavanaugh trial with Ford, and I think this is what got me thinking about it, because it's like, I haven't followed it hardly at all. I'm not very big into politics. This is a particular thing I can't do anything about, and I've got a lot of other things to keep me busy. But I have, and so by the way, I'm going to say right now, I don't have an opinion on this topic. I wouldn't be surprised if he did it or if he didn't do it. I have not been following it enough to really know. But what I've been noticing, though, is that people on social media, both sides are like so convinced that their side is right. So it seems, and I mean, there is a strong correlation. I don't think I've hardly ever seen such a strong correlation where people are so sure that their side is right on hardly anything. So it seems like almost all of the Democrats think that he's guilty, and almost all of the Republicans think he's not. I've also noticed it seems like generally women generally tend to think he's guilty, and men generally think he's not. And so what it seems like is you have people aligning with their particular group on the topic. And people can be members of multiple groups. You can have a person who's a woman, so she's in the set of women, and she's also a Republican. Or you can have a Hindu who is a independent or a libertarian, or you can have these different groups that you're a member of, or maybe you think that maybe you're a Christian and you're a Republican and you think that Linux is the best operating system ever, which it is, by the way. Just kidding. Well, kind of. It's pretty sweet. Anyway, Vim, Emacs, whatever. Sorry, software engineer. But anyway, I've thought about this stuff, and I don't know if this is original to me, but I did independently think of this test that you can use, or I can use, to apply to people to kind of try to test how much do they think for themselves versus follow the crowd. How much how much is this person an independent thinker, or how much do they think? And here's the test. The test is to look at the groups that this person appears to be a member of. Are they a Democrat? Are they whatever different groups? Try to figure out what groups they're a part of, and then look at their beliefs based on what they share, and look at, okay, how often do they disagree with the group? How long do they disagree with the group that they're a part of? And how often do they agree with the opposing side? So how often do they look at bad arguments within their group, and every group has bad arguments. Every group is wrong on something. Nobody has a monopoly on the truth. Though I think people seem to be thinking that more and more now. But so how often does this person in question say, when there's a bad argument from their group, call it out and say, that's a bad argument? Or how often do they make bad arguments themselves to uphold their view? And how often do they look at the opposing side, and when the opposing side has a good argument or takes a good action, how often do they admit that's a good point, or that was a good thing you did? And I would argue that the more that a given person diverges from their group on any given issue, the more likely it is that that person is a free thinker. They think for themselves. And I think this is true for a couple reasons. I think that the probability, just the sheer probability that everyone in this particular group all has the same view on every one of these topics. Let's say you got 100 topics, and let's say you have this person and they agree with every one of those topics and with a majority view inside of their group. The probability of a person agreeing from their own thinking on all these topics, as the number of topics goes up, becomes lesser and lesser of a probability. And so that's the test. Just test, look and see how often do people diverge from their group or their groups in various issues. And that's it. Try to think for yourself. I would really like to see us get away from this kind of mentality where people are trying to prove that they're intelligent by having the right view on everything and being so afraid of thinking for themselves because they're afraid they're going to be seen as stupid, to say a view that is unpopular. Sometimes you got to just say, dude, Emperor, you're naked, man. I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care what all these other people say. I'm looking for myself, and this is a load of crap. That's it. Thanks.